Become a member of the National At-Home Dad Network, an organization focused on providing advocacy, community, education, and support. Connecting with households where dad is the primary caregiver of the children. We do this through our webinar and podcast series, mental health support groups, regular online social events, as well as our annual convention. The National At-Home Dad Network is a 100% volunteer organization. Without the generous support of its members and the community around it, we would not be able to continue the work that we do. Becoming a member gives you access to past convention speaker presentations, the ability to vote for board members annually, and ensures that the organization's fees and bills are in positive standing. Oh yeah, it should not go unmentioned that there is some cool swag headed your way if you decide to become a member. For only $35 a year, your membership provides you with the exclusive content only we can generate, and you'll be supporting an organization that benefits families all around the country and world. By advocating for them, offering them community, providing education and guidance, and supporting them to grow in their parenthood journey. And one last thing, if you contribute $500 or more, you will become a lifetime member. Not only will you receive everything already mentioned, but also a certificate recognizing your status and an exclusive National At-Home Dad Network challenge coin with our trademark logo, Dads Don't Babysit. So, what are you waiting for? Become a member today. Welcome to Home Dad Chat, brought to you by the National At-Home Dad Network. My name
Hey
is Brock.
everybody,
My name is
welcome
Danny.
back.
We're here to talk about
I know
life
it's
as
been
stay-at-home dads.
a bit of
So
hiatus.
sit back, relax.
Danny and I
enjoy
were
the show.
both off enjoying a week.
No, I don't want much. I even love handmade crafts made of macaroni. Come on now, you should know me.
We're gonna talk a little
Times
bit
I
about that.
might eat
What
too
we were
much. No
doing,
worry about
why
my
we
weight. Got the
weren't-
dad bod
why we
rocking
didn't
on me.
have an
Sketches
episode
on my
last
feet.
week.
Cargo
And,
shorts look good
yeah.
on me.
We're
I'm a
gonna
dad,
continue
that's
on
what
with
I
bringing out
do.
episodes on a weekly basis from now on, since we don't have any other breaks until what? The summer, and even then it's not really a break.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if that's a break.
Is that? Yeah, I feel like that's
Summer's-
that's
It's overtime.
yeah, overtime, full time, plus. Yeah. So anyway, you got to do like a single road trip, like just you.
Yep. Yep.
That sounds like fun.
It was.
you-
I never missed my kids.
There you go.
So it was,
And there is
I wasn't
nothing-
gone long enough to miss
There's
my kids.
nothing wrong with that at all.
I did miss Marnie after maybe 2 days, but it wasn't any pining, longing. It was just like, oh, this would be cooler if she was here. So I
Yeah.
went down to Atlanta, drove down to Atlanta from Wisconsin, took a 2-day trip down, 2-day trip back up just to see a lot of my old friends down there. Had some, actually had to pick up some computers. So
Yeah.
that was you can't really ship a built computer. It'll just pieces will shake apart and you'll have to put it back together kind of thing. So because they're a little bit more high dollar, let's say, they're fragile. So
yeah, you're not
make sure
wrong.
Drive
No,
up with them. Yeah.
but that's cool. I mean, but you got to also hang out with some other guys in the network as well.
No, they got to hang out with me.
Oh,
Oh.
there.
I'm saying that specifically for Jeremy Haston.
Yeah, I was gonna
Just let
say.
you know, my little brother.
It is
He
your
deserves
honor
all he
to have
gets.
gotten to hang out with me, sir.
That's right. That's right. But yeah, I went to Jeremy's house in St. Louis. He had we've been kicking around the idea, and I think you and I have talked about it too, is just kind of having a little mini home dad con.
Yeah.
So he was just trying to get that together. We've mentioned it, as far as where we might go and what have you. And I thought, well, I'm traveling down there. I can't see everybody, but who's on the route and what have you.
Yeah.
So yeah, he got it. It was a good effort. It was cold and not warm enough on his back deck. So that's all right. We stayed inside a little bit and had a good time and got a good food. And
Nice.
He and Nick Hargis, who came up from Missouri,
Cool. Yeah.
they had a lot of good beer from what they told me. I don't know. Drecker, which is
Oh yeah. Okay. Yep.
made only, I think, only in Minnesota or something.
It
I don't
is.
remember where.
Yeah.
It's hard to get. So
It is. It has been difficult to get. Actually, their distribution has gotten much better. I get it
Good.
here. I can get it here in Cincinnati now.
cool.
But yes, it is a very sought after brewery. Eric Shorberg's, it's one of his favorites.
Mhm.
Typically the can art is like the thing that is a driving, and then just
Neat.
the bonus is that it actually has really good flavor. So
That's good beer.
yeah. So yeah, they had
Eric
Drecker.
actually gave me what I took to Jeremy. Jeremy had it at Eric's house previously when they had the one for Jeremy's birthday and all that, and went up there, and
Okay.
I don't know how many, 8 or 9 guys up there, but yeah. So Jeremy said, "So are you bringing any beer with you?" I'm like, "No." He said, "Can you bring some Drecker?" I went, "If I can get it. I don't know. What is it?" Actually, he said, I think the first thing he said is, "Can you bring some Drecker?" And I, with no preamble at all, and I'm like, "I don't know what that is. What is Drecker?" And then he told me the beer and all this stuff. So, and then Eric got with me, brought that and a bottle of whiskey, I think whiskey
Yes.
or bourbon, to take down with him.
It's a Widow Jane, aged 10 years that Eric found at Costco for like $30 a bottle. It's
Yeah.
regularly like 70. It was an awesome deal. And so Jeremy and I both were like, we'll take one.
Well, he did seem to be very happy about it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a
So-
very rare find, that's for sure. So that's
Cool.
cool, man. So you were a little bit of a mule, taking some beer and some
take some beer
whiskey
down.
down there.
And I got to see Brett Landry, who I knew
yeah.
from Georgia previously. So got to have lunch with him, and it was cool. Missed him. He's a good man. Just a stand up fellow, let me tell you.
Yeah,
It
I
was
saw
really good
where
talking to him.
I saw where him and his wife just recently celebrated like their 17th
Mhm.
wedding anniversary. So that was
Yep.
exciting.
And they have been, and I'm not telling anything that he won't say. And actually, I'll probably interview him at some point for the newsletter or something about it. But
Yeah.
they were having some rough times.
Oh, I know. Yeah. I've
relationship
talked to him
issues,
about that a
you know.
little bit too. So
And
yeah.
not trying to air dirty laundry here, but the reason I bring it up is because he, and I believe his wife, of course, was a big part of this too, they've just turned it around 180 degrees.
Yeah.
And he's just like, she loves me like when we were first married. I love her like when I was first married. It's just wonderful again.
Yep.
So that to me is something that I think a lot of us need to hear about, because most of the time we're just like, it's easier. Let's just break up. We're not going to put in, it's too much work. It's too much effort, or it's just impossible. There's so many reasons why you break up, have a divorce, but just that he'd put in the work.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
made
They
some
fought for
changes,
it.
and yeah.
Yeah.
So it was really good. I was encouraged by that, really.
No, he definitely, they went through a lot. I thought it was really awesome. He reached out to me at one point and just wanted to talk a while back. Like this was back, I don't know, late last year or something like that. And I felt very honored that he wanted to sort of like just get some things off his chest and talk through some things. So,
Mhm.
and I, to me, like that's what we always talk about on this podcast and in the community in itself, is just the ability to reach out to somebody and just, this is the shit I'm going through. I could just really use an ear right now. And that's all I was. And I mean, I had nothing for him. Like I was like, I don't know what to tell you. Like the most I can do for you is I can pray for your marriage. Like that was it for me, and which he was very appreciative of. And I was awesome to hear that they were able to work through everything. So yeah.
Sometimes just listening.
Yeah.
But that's as much as you can do, and that's enough.
Yeah. You're not wrong. That's for sure. And I think that especially in times like now, the more that we can take the time to listen to people, the better off things can be. So that's definitely a huge yeah. Sorry.
So what did you do on spring break?
So I took my family and we went down to Florida for the first time. We flew together for the first time. The kids did awesome. They were
Good.
rock stars. Had absolutely no issues takeoff or landing.
Awesome.
So that was really cool. Um, so it's funny. I was like, I'm gonna download a movie. I figured I'd just watch it by myself, not even like really thinking the fact that, of course, as soon as I turn it on, my kid's like, "What you watching?"
Mhm.
And so we watched Forrest Gump together. To which I had to like fast forward through certain scenes in Forrest
Mhm.
Gump because I'm like, nah, my 10-year-old's a little too young for some of this stuff. But at the same time, he enjoyed it. Like he actually found like the character of Forrest Gump to be very interesting, and just had lots of
Yeah.
questions about kind of what was going on with him. And he got to see like him as a soldier in Vietnam and stuff like that. And
Mhm.
so I mean, he found it very comical. Scenes like where he was like talking to Kennedy and he's like, "I gotta pee." Great line.
Yes.
So yeah, so great flight down. Everything went well. Got to meet up with Joshua Bernstein. His family blessed us with their second car for the week, which
Nice.
saved us a ton on renting a car, and
Yeah.
just gave us the freedom to move about as we so wished. Um, so yeah, so we had this condo like 40 yards off of the beach, down in Madeira Beach. And it was so funny. Sometimes when you rent places, you just never know what you're going to get into.
Mhm.
Corey goes over to dump some soda into the sink we stopped at a restaurant to get something to eat before we got to the condo, and she heard ka-chunk chunk like down into the cabinet of the sink.
Yeah.
And I'm in the bedroom and she's like, "Oh no." And I'm like, "What?" And she opens up the cabinet and all of the soda is at the bottom of it. And the pipe was completely disconnected from like the sink and the wall.
Whoops.
Yeah. And the guy who owns the place was like, "I had no idea." And he's like, "I don't know
Yeah.
how that happened." I'm like, "I don't know how it happened either." Um,
Well,
and of
I
course I
mean,
didn't. Yeah.
somebody took it apart. I mean, it's obvious that stuff doesn't just fall apart. So
Right. No, I know
yeah.
exactly. I was like, "Oh, I'm not gonna get into this with you. It's 10 o'clock at night." I was like, "Can you just come over in the morning and fix it for me?" Honestly,
Mhm.
because I don't have any tools. So that got situated. But we spent time at the beach, had a great time. Went to Disney Springs. Kids got some cool Legos. We watch a show on Fox called Lego Masters, where they build all these cool Lego creations, and the contestants all have um like Lego minifigures that look like them, like shirts and stuff are all designed. And I think
Neat.
that after like 3 seasons of doing it, people are like, "Well, I want to be able to build a minifigure like that. That would be awesome." And so Lego came out with a factor, like a computer thing. They call it the Lego Factory, and you can go in and design the body of your minifigure with whatever. Like they've got all kinds of different things, and it prints it on there for you. So you can put
Cool.
like your name, or you can put sports teams and all kinds of stuff like that. And so we created minifigures, and then each minifigure came with a name block. So you got your name printed on it, which was really neat. And you got to pick out all
Nice.
these accessories and stuff. So we did that. Um,
Was the
yeah,
name block like a block to stand the figure on that it
yeah,
connected to, and like a
yeah.
platform kind of thing?
It's a 4 peg, single like brick, whatever you want to call it. How you call that exactly, but I think that's the right term. 4x1, I
Mhm.
guess. So yeah, and that they printed on that, and yeah, and so it stays on there, and it comes in a nice little fun box and everything. I posted some pictures on my Instagram if anybody wants to look at them because they're cool. So we did that. Had another beach day, and then the cool thing that we did that David McMillan pointed out to me, because his family road trip down to Key West about a month ago, was he had stopped just north of where we were in a place called Crystal River and went swimming with manatees.
All right.
And there's this place called Kings Bay. It's a natural spring. It's 72 degrees all year round there. And these manatees hang out there. And so it was like $56 a person to do a 3-hour tour. They gave you a wetsuit and everything. It was awesome. And I had
Mhm.
a GoPro that David and I share, and just had a blast. Like photos and videos, and like the kids had a great time with it.
Yeah.
It was so funny too. You know how sometimes you're like really excited about something and you tell your kids, "Hey, we're gonna do this," and you get absolutely no reaction out of them.
Hmm.
That's how this was. We,
Yeah.
in the morning, we're like, "Hey, so on this picture on the wall, there is a dolphin and a pelican, and what's that other creature up there?" And they're like, "It's a manatee." And I was like, "Have we seen any of those yet?" And they're like, "Nope." I'm like, "All right, well, today we're gonna go swimming with them." And they were just like, "All right." And Corey and I are like, "What the hell?" Like, we're going, and they're like, "I don't know if I want to go." We're like, "We've already paid for it. We're getting in the car and going."
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
So
You don't get to choose. We're going. This
yeah,
is what we're
yeah.
doing. Yeah.
But by the time we got all situated and everything, they were pumped about it. They just were tired and not fully awake.
Mhm.
So we went swimming with manatees, and that was a lot of fun. And then before we left, we actually went um, to the Tampa, or not, sorry, not Tampa. We went to Tampa to go to the Florida Aquarium, which
Mhm.
is a huge aquarium. And so that was a lot of fun. That was basically how we burned off like 5 hours before we had to go catch a plane back home. So
That's a good way to
yeah.
do it.
And then, oh, the other bonus, two bonuses. One, Joshua's oldest, Aretta, was kind enough to watch our kids and hang out with her siblings so that Joshua and Amber and Corey and I could all go out on a date.
No way.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So that was awesome. And so we got to do that. So it was nice to just have a night out with the adults.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and love my kids, but I
Yeah.
can't imagine yeah, I don't remember the last time really. I mean, I'm sure we've done it. We went to a movie. I'm sure we went to a movie in the last year or so, but it's just like so rare,
Yeah.
you know?
I love it. When we've gotten to go on some trips, we've had the just blessings of being able to have time to go out with different couples. Like we got to do that with Charlie and his wife too when we were on our
Mhm.
big trip. So
I
and
remember that.
then Nick Figel came in from Tampa and
Mhm.
brought some beers, and we sat there at the condo and hung out and chatted for a good hour or so and just caught up on life. And I spent a good majority of it trying to convince him that he needs to come to Milwaukee, which I think he's pretty much he's about there on being able to go. He said he had a few things to get figured out, but yeah, I was like, I missed you in Phoenix, man. So
Yeah.
hopefully he makes it up to Milwaukee for that. But we had fun. We just sat around and chatted, and he brought a few different beers for us to try together. And we had one that we opened up, and I don't remember where it's from or anything, but we both looked at each other and went, "This is off." We're like, "This doesn't taste right." Like I've never had a beer where you just open it up and is immediately both of us looked at each other and we're like, "This something's not right here." But we had fun. It was a good time. So yeah, it was a
Good.
great trip. Definitely spent way more money than we expected to, but made wonderful memories. So
Yeah.
that's the important part.
The thing is too, is what the kids will remember.
Oh yeah.
Of course, is probably not everything you remember necessarily, but they did have a good time. And I have to say, something like swimming with manatees is
Mhm.
I mean, unless you're a marine biologist or something who gets to do it regularly, it's kind of a once in a lifetime thing.
Yeah.
So that's very well for most of us. I'm sure if you live there, it's probably easier, but that's great. That
Yeah.
kind of thing, that's to me, if you have the money, is worth the investment.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just the fact of the way we spread it out, it helped out too. But it was just nice to be able to go down and enjoy a vacation
Mhm.
in that respect. And it was just very laid back. Like the one thing that we commented on was I don't feel like I need a vacation after my vacation kind of deal. Like we didn't like tire ourselves out. We relaxed and enjoyed
Mhm.
ourselves, and
Got to recharge.
got to recharge. I mean, I, would go out and swim with the kids in the ocean for a little bit. Corey would just hang out and read a book and just relax, enjoying the warm air, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
And it was one of those deals where it's like, man, you find out like the ocean just really can beat you up with the waves. Like, I slept really good. Let's put it that
Yeah.
way.
That's the one thing too with swimming. You always know everybody's going to sleep well.
Yeah.
Short of sunburn, but that didn't count.
No.
But yeah, every time we go, it's like, yeah, I'm going to have to carry somebody in from the car. And I was, I will wake up the teenagers. No, you're too big. I'm not carrying you in. But
See, that's the nice part with being 40 yards away from the beach. Like, they just walk in, and after
Yeah.
they shower, it's like they can crash if they want to.
stagger and flop anywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. Couch, boom, you're out.
Yep. Do you want to read a book? Oh, never mind. You're gone.
Yeah. So we ate lots of seafood, and that was a lot of fun. Like, the kids, they
Good.
really enjoy sushi and all that stuff. Like, my son and I split like baked oysters, and he kept trying to eat my crab legs and everything else. So,
We've never tried baked oysters. I should probably try that.
oh, they were good. They were like,
Raw oysters are gross.
I like raw oysters too, but the baked ones are really good. These ones were covered in like Parmesan cheese and something else, so they were super tasty.
I had raw oysters once, and it was in or near Jekyll Island off the coast of Georgia.
Mhm.
And my now ex-wife, second wife at the time, said she goes, yeah, we'll just try them. And she goes, oh, are you okay? And I'm like, I don't want any more of those. She said, I think that's the first time I've ever seen someone actually turn green.
Oh no.
And I'm like, yeah, I don't, it was all I could do to swallow that one. It's
Oh,
just
no.
like, yeah, we'll just don't have any more. But she was, she loves them. So
Mhm.
she was having a good old time. Yeah. No, not raw oyster. I'm not.
It's not for everybody. It's not for everybody.
And that's true with everything.
Yeah.
I know people that don't like hamburgers. I don't talk to them, but I know them.
I don't know who those people are. My goodness.
Not talking about vegetarians, everyone. Specifically talking about meat eaters who've chosen not to eat hamburgers. Calm down.
You're gonna start something, okay?
That's what I do. I'm like a big spoon.
I can feel
Just
it.
stir things up. That's my job.
So it sounds like
yeah.
I say, so it sounds like we both had good trips then. So
Yeah. Mine was not as recharging. I'm definitely still way too tired and want to go to sleep. Just because it was a lot of driving, and
yeah,
it's funny because driving used to be I could go 10 hours, and that was my limit, and I can't. I just have to stop.
Mhm.
Now my limit's more like 8, and I had to drive 9, almost 9.5. So
Ooh.
I'm and getting down to Atlanta, I'm like, okay, just hit the Georgia border, and there's a town up there. It's actually like the carpet center of Georgia for whatever reason. Sell a lot of carpet out of it, called Dalton.
Okay.
And I stopped in Dalton, and then the GPS rerouted me across basically the Georgia mountains, which was nice and wonderful. But I stopped and got gas, and I got out and I pumped the gas, and I went, oh, I'm tired, and it's just that moment of hitting the wall kind of. So I went in and got some caffeine and some snacks, and was able to wake up all the way. When I got to my brother's house, it was probably another hour driving, and I went, yeah, I can't do anything tonight. I just got to go to bed. I don't care where I'm sleeping. You just point, and I'm going to set up right there and go to sleep.
Yeah. Where's my pillow?
So, right. Yeah.
I can understand that for sure. I would probably have been like, I'm just gonna find a place to like take a 20-minute power nap.
Yeah.
before we finish this thing out.
The thing about going through the mountains of Georgia is that it's almost all just a 2-lane road.
Oh,
There's
well, yeah, that
really
makes it
not.
hard.
I mean, I was not driving fast enough for the people that live there. The people that live in Dawsonville,
the wonderful
drive way faster.
Dawsonvillians.
Yep. And I'm going, yeah, buddy, I'm sorry. I will pull over, but there's no place, until we got to town.
I mean, how many times do you get the horn of?
They were pretty polite. I got a couple of lights flashed at me, but that was it. So
A couple of
bad.
yeehaws.
Right.
You're like people
That's
going by you.
That's my people. I'm just gonna say it.
Come
I
on,
love it.
Cletus, drive that thing.
Mhm. Well, maybe I was in Marnie's Prius too, so that was automatically.
Oh, that didn't help
I had
either.
a lot of good old boys just getting right up on my bumper, and I'm like, man,
Mhm.
I will drive slower. I will let you push me if you feel like you want to pay the insurance on this car, but I'm not. You're not going to intimidate me to, I'll get out of your way as soon as there's another lane. But
Oh, shoot.
that was
Yeah,
fine.
it's all good.
Fine. Usually young guys. I used to be that way, so it's fine.
Well,
Drive too
hey,
fast.
no, I get it. Well, I mean, driving to Orlando was interesting on the I-4 there, because that's like a freaking autobahn.
Yeah.
People are I mean, if you're not driving 80, you're driving too slow. And I literally set my cruise at about 80 and just like got all the way over the right lane, and I'm like, I'm just gonna watch this race car action happen around me, because I was like, I don't feel like I need to go 100 miles an hour or more.
Right.
And there were just cars passing me like I was just sitting still watching a NASCAR race. So
Yep.
that was wild.
Around Atlanta and up through the main interstates and state highways out of it. I mean, that 400 is 7 lanes on each side through certain
Jeez.
sections. I mean, it's huge because there's all the urban sprawl from Atlanta has gone up north up the corridor. And I mean, I was going 70, speed limit was 65. And I'm like, okay, I'm still going to be in the right hand lane.
Mhm.
And the only people that I really got close to or passed were semis. Everybody else, like you said, it's just going wow, meow, meow. I'm like, I
Yeah.
remember that.
Because they're the only ones that
Remember
have something to lose if they
Yep.
go they go too fast.
Right.
They know.
Yep.
Oh man.
Right. Well,
Well, anyway, we'll switch gears a little bit here. So we're starting to get people asking to come on the show like crazy. I feel like every time I look in the our inbox, I keep seeing more and more people,
yep. I've
which
been
is
doing my
awesome.
best. I haven't done all of them, but
No,
I've
it's all
been
good.
putting the word out.
No, I'm excited for it though, because it's neat to see, some of the different people that are interested in coming on and talking to us.
And that really had no direct connect.
No,
like the people that have come in like, oh, well, Dr. Kate Mangino as an example. Well, that's because we know Brian Anderson, because that's, and it's
Sure.
you can see the diagram, but a couple of the emails we've gotten, I'm like, huh, well, that's cool. I don't know who you are.
yeah, I know.
This is neat, but
and they want an immediate like response back, and you're like, I need to do some research on who you are first before
Yeah.
we figure out if this is going to go anywhere.
right.
It's like not
Yeah.
just anybody is going to come on the show.
Almost anybody, but yeah,
Almost, yeah.
We're not desperate. We're just a little needy, so.
But it is exciting though. I've
Mhm.
been thrilled about it. I think that honestly, I have to say that it's got a lot to do with our listenership getting the word out about the show, because
Mhm.
I've definitely seen where people are sharing the episodes and getting that out there, and so that's really what helps us for more people to be able to see what it is that this podcast does. So I'm
Mhm.
super pumped about that. But yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of different avenues that is going to happen here. And I don't know. I'm curious to see who else comes in.
Mhm. And there's a lot of intersection when it comes to fatherhood and parenting and all of the other groups that are out there.
Mhm.
I would say probably, at least in my mind, at least right now, the National At Home Dad Network has kind of cornered the market in a way. We're kind of the fatherhood thing to go to, especially for at home dads, working from home dads, and there are other groups out there.
Yeah.
But the intersection is really cool because a lot of the times we'll find, oh yeah, we both want this, and in our case, it's we want fatherhood to be, we want to cheer it on.
Yeah.
So the other groups that want to do that too, and I've seen a lot of it, like, well, Fathering Together is a good example since they've been on several times recently.
Yep.
That, yeah, we're all want the same thing. And what I've liked most about the interactions that I've had with people is it isn't a competition.
Yeah, that's
It's
been
just,
very, very nice.
yeah, let's all get together and let me boost your signal. And let's see what you're doing. That sounds like a great thing. Let me tell people about it if I, if I can help. And it's been reciprocated very well. And I think that too is helping with a little bit of the growth. But I know I appreciate our listeners, of course.
Yeah.
And the guys that I know listen, and they're like, "You said my name the other day." Yeah, I sure did.
Yeah. Which I was kicking around the idea of some new swag for the podcast actually, and looking at a couple of things. And
mhm.
I had picked out, so what was it? So Shannon and Mick had brought
You
dad
need to tell the listeners who that is,
yeah, okay.
just so
So
we know. I
yeah.
know, but
So Shannon Carpenter and Mick, I can't pronounce his last name to save my-
Fryermuth.
Fryermuth, thank you. From the Dad House podcast. They came to the convention with these really cool etched glassware. I think some people got shot glasses, other people got rocks glasses. Just some really neat swag for their friends and listeners of the show. Yeah, like that one right there.
You can't see it, but yeah, I thought this was just a very cool thing.
Yeah, which I found out from Mick that apparently one of his daughter's friends' moms apparently did those, because I thought they like ordered them online or something, and they actually had somebody they knew etched them for them, which I was like, that's cool.
I wonder what they used.
I don't
'Cause I
know.
want one.
Yeah, I know, right? It's probably some
Probably a
sort of laser,
Glowforge.
probably some sort of laser engraver type
Yeah.
deal.
There's a Glowforge, which is I'm getting off topic.
Nope.
Shot glasses.
You're fine. So anyway, I was looking around, and I think I've kind of found like the design I want, and I got to try to figure out a couple things. But I mentioned that last night in the Dad Lounge, and Matt was like, "That's a great looking glass. However, that's not something that I would drink out of because I don't." And I'm like, well played, sir. Like, I had not really thought of our sober friends who maybe that glass is not something that they would want to have around. And I was like, okay, well, maybe we need to look into like a coffee mug of some kind, that like, as as another option as well. So I'm kind of looking at some different things. And I had quite a few people who were like, yeah, I'd buy those things or whatever. And I'm like, all right, cool. So we'll see what plays out of it. But I definitely want to try to get something together before we go up to the convention, because I feel like guys like to have that kind of stuff from the things that they listen to and that type of deal.
Yeah,
so
sure.
so that's
Absolutely.
so that's something that I'm working on, trying to figure out. So I'll probably be sending you some images to take a look at and see what you think of as far as product design.
Cool. Merchandising.
Yeah, merchandising. We were talking about
Schwartz be with you.
we were talking about that guy last night too. We were talking about History of the World Part 2.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. Barney has actually been watching it. I think I mentioned it previously, and I'm like, you don't like this kind of humor. She's like, it's just on, kind of like you were laughing at it at some point, weren't you? How are you drunk? Because yeah, she doesn't like the lowbrow. She's quite erudite, my wife. It has to be very clever for her to get it.
Yes.
And I don't know what she's doing with me, but hey.
Hey man, we married up. We've talked about that.
That's right. Catch a good woman in a weak moment.
Yeah.
Commit her for life.
And I know you're not a sports ball guy, but the other thing that's coming around for a lot of their guys who are excited is opening day for baseball. It starts this week. So that's the other thing that I'm excited about. If like for me in Cincinnati, like that's a huge thing. So I'm looking forward to that. But also too, if you're a T-Mobile person, get the free MLB TV, man, so you can watch it. Brett Landry was on that, man. He was like, hey, don't forget today's the day. And I'm like, yes, baby, get signed up.
It's actually funny. I was thinking of a sports reference just last week because I had a lot of time driving, forever, and have a presentation that I've done before that I'm building up on self-care, right? And I'm driving along, and I just, someone was saying something about it, and then I thought I'm going to ask Brock at some point when he's overworked, he's doing too much, trying to do too much stuff. I'm just going to say, hey, why do football teams have an off season?
Oh, why?
Well, it's a rest, right? I mean, you can't play football
Oh,
all
yeah.
year long. You'll burn yourself out, right?
Right. That's true.
Sports,
There you
just
go.
like life.
Mm,
Take a break, take some time off. Yeah.
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 And it's the same thing with baseball. That's why they have
Mhm.
a break before they get into spring training and everything. So,
Mhm.
and
And
those
you can't.
guys,
Mhm.
sorry, the guys in baseball that I've seen, especially the ones out of Cincinnati, I've gotten to hear some really cool stories of like what they do for self-care for themselves, both during the season and in the off season.
Cool.
And there are some guys who are like avid hunters,
Mhm.
and it's very difficult in the when it's on season to get time to practice, especially
Mhm.
like bow hunting, that kind of deal.
Oh yeah.
Some of these guys actually bring their bows to different parks and actually have target practice out on the field,
Nice.
because nobody's in there to like, they just put up 3D targets and
Yeah.
shoot at them. So I remember Homer Bailey, when he was a pitcher for the Reds, that was one of the things that he would do is he would actually shoot his bow and arrow in the stadium. I was like, man, I just
Very
want to come in
cool.
there and do that. That would be so cool.
Right? That would be very cool.
So yeah, and some of the guys, they go fishing and things like that. And then in the off season, of course, like that's when they get to actually go out and hunt
Mhm.
for a time, because that's the nice thing about baseball is that it ends in October, so they've got November, December, and part of January to actually go out and do that hunting during that time for most
Mhm.
places. So
Sweet.
yeah, so yeah, there's definitely some self-care things that take place in that area.
Yeah. And I think our athletes would probably be the greatest example,
Mm-hmm.
of the need for self-care, because you can't operate at your peak, and they are at their, I mean, they have to be 99.9% all time for the season. So anytime they have off, that's why they have have trainers take them, and whether it's a tub of ice or a massage or whatever it is to keep you physically fit, because you're so demanding what you're doing, and
Yeah.
then obviously you need to recuperate from that. So it's a
Yep.
good example.
No, definitely. Yeah.
Leading by example.
Well, and two, I mean, parents need that break as well. So,
Mhm.
they got to figure out how they want to do it, and what avenues they want to take on it. But yeah, I mean, like I know my neighbor across the street, they have twin girls, and we got back from spring break, and grandparents were with the kids. And I was like, hey, what's going on? They're like, oh, like they went away for the week or whatever. I'm like, that's awesome. I'm super proud of them. Like, I mean, their girls are like 2-3 years old now, so it's like,
Mhm.
yeah, dude, like go figure out how to have that vacation. Like that's
Right.
important. That's super important.
Keep dating your partner.
Yes,
Just
sir.
keep dating them.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Well, I too was like, well, Corey makes fun of me about this, which is funny, but at the same time, the different things like, oh, hey, I went to Milwaukee to go have the to go to the board retreat, got to hang out with a bunch of guys up there. And then I got to hang out with Nick and Joshua a little bit on the spring break trip. And Nick was like, hey, I'm going to be in Pittsburgh actually, and in June. And if you can make it up, like we could hang out then. And so last night, Steve Jaron just happened to be on the Dad Lounge, and I was like, "Hey, like if I came up to Pittsburgh, you got a
Yeah.
place for me to crash?" He was like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "Sweet." I was like,
Nice.
I think I'm gonna try to make that up there." And I told Corey, I was like, "Yeah, so I think in June I'm gonna try to go to Pittsburgh." She's like, "Another dad vacation for you?"
That's right.
And I'm like, "Yep, that's
That's right.
exactly it."
Yeah. Well, mine was kind of work oriented, I guess. I did pick up 4 computers, 4 desktops. So that was the reason for going down, but I made every opportunity to hang out with every dad I could reach.
Yeah.
There and back. So it's just, we need it.
It's important, man. It's so important. That's the
Mhm.
thing that I feel like I talked to a lot of guys about recently, is just this, like, getting reconnected with the guys that are local to you and getting connected with the guys who
Right.
maybe talk about online. You're like, all right, like you're only like 3-4 hours away. Okay, can we do like just a day thing to get together and hang out? Like, what's that look like?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that more than anything, especially after these past few years, it's more recognized that it's super important to have that kind of connection with with others. And I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of interesting looking back on it, like hindsight, but it's like in some ways I wonder if it would be at that point for some people, you know, like that the importance of connecting and kind of getting out of that isolation of things. Like I know we always talk about it, but I feel like we all got isolated and realized how bad it sucks and how important it is to connect. And so making that effort and, you know, saying this is important to me is the key. And that's the thing that like I said, my wife jokingly, you know, says, oh, you need to go on another dad vacation, but she understands, she gets what it is. And she knows that if she ever, you know, wants to get away with her friends or whatever and go somewhere, she knows that she can do that as well. So,
well, and it's a thing too, that generally if we're the primary caretakers, we will see that in our partner and say, you know, maybe you could take this day off and just go spend the evening, get yourself a meal somewhere and stay in a hotel and just come back Saturday whenever you want to, just relax and take some time, because of that constant work that they're in.
Yeah.
And it applies to us just as well. So
definitely. Well, that's, I mean, Corey started actually hanging out with her good friend that lives here in town, where they're trying to do like a weekly get together for a few hours or whatever. And I'm like, great, like pick a night, do it. Like, I'm fine. Like, whatever you need to do, I get it. Like,
yeah,
you know, like I get different ways that I have to get out of the house for doing stuff, whether it be work or even just like connecting with other people. It's like if you have a desire and your friend has a desire to like get together and hang out, then let's make it happen. You know, it's important. So, and we've been doing that for a few weeks now, and it's been good. Like, you know, they're trying to keep it at consistent days just to make it easier on schedules, but you know, life happens. It doesn't always work out that way.
It really does.
Yeah.
It happens so much.
Yes, it does. We know.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like every Tuesday, Marnie goes out to her knitting group. And now they do wine tasting. Before
it went from knitting to wine tasting.
Well, it's wine tasting then knitting. So yeah, so it's just much more social, especially her being an introvert. But it's hilarious to see her go. She gets kind of excited. She wants to get her stuff together, and she's like, "Are you okay if I leave a little bit early?" I'm like, "You're gonna have 2 glasses of wine because you're not gonna be able to drive. You're too old now. You just get drunk." It's like, no, I'm just gonna meet with so and so. We wanted to talk about this book we were reading, and I'm like, you know, this is right where I want her to be.
Yeah.
You know, I want her to have that thing that she's excited about and that she's going to enjoy, and that she can go and she can get fun and enjoy it, and then come home kind of recharged and refreshed, and you know, go back right over there to her office, which is
no problem if one knitted sock is maybe longer than the other because of wine.
They're all supposed to be. You know what? A friend of ours was talking about it, and she said, you know, I just finished knitting this sock. It usually takes me, you know, a lot longer, but I got this one. I've only done this one yet. I've got to do the other one. And her husband said, well, why do they have to match? And she said, oh, they don't, you know, and that's the thing, is it's a handmade knitted sock. It can look like whatever you want it to look like. And it was like you said, she's like, so I made this one shorter, and now I'm done with this pair and I'm sending them on, you know, and because she gives them to people. And I'm like, that's very cool, because
that is cool.
Again, it's handmade, and you know, just tell them that's where the wine ran out and I had to stop.
Yep, there you go.
All you get. That's all the sock you get.
Wine socks. You get what you get until the yarn runs out.
Right.
And the wine.
And
one or the other, whichever one first. Who knows? Anyway, yeah, so I'm like I said, I'm very excited for upcoming episodes. I don't really have anything else to talk about, honestly. I feel like we're both very tired, and anybody that's listening to this during the day, I'm sure you understand that tiredness. So make sure that you take some time to relax, sit down, and just try to enjoy maybe just a few minutes of quiet before things get chaotic again, because that's important. So thanks for listening, and we'll talk to y'all again next week.
Good night, everybody.
I'm a dad, that's what I do.